Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Tim. We're here to break down today's 12-game MLB DraftKings slate. If you're new to the channel, my name's Tim. We break down these games individually. We talk matchups here, pitching, hitting. We'll look at some of the team statistics, average home runs, on base percentage, strikeouts, over under totals, weather if we need to talk about it. So baseball, DFS, if that interests you, don't forget to subscribe. I don't know what you're waiting for. And let's just get started here. First games first, we got the Phillies taking on the Nationals, 9 over under here. Nationals favorited. You have Anderson taking on Fetty. Zero interest in pitching here. Anderson is just bad all around. And then Fetty, he's actually been okay this season. It's tough to kind of pick on him. He's not very good, but he's been all right. He gives up hard contact, so that's something to keep in mind here. On the Phillies side, they strike out a lot. They're everywhere else. They're kind of just average. They're definitely in play. McCutchen at 4.3, Segura 4.3 projected in the 2-hole. Harper at 5.7, probably one of my favorite spend ups here for power. Realmuto 5.1. It's tough to kind of pay up for a catcher, but he's definitely in play. And then on the other side, the Nationals, they 7th in average, 14th in on-base percentage. What kills me is that they're not really hitting a ton of home runs. They're not really striking out either, so they're really tough on the opposing pitcher. Turner, 5.6. I think will end up being kind of popular in this one. Harrison at 3.6 is definitely a great value for this team. Soto, 5.3, I think is in play. I think I'm going to stay away from it. Overall, I think this is it's a high over-under here total. Keep an eye on weather. I think there's some wind shifting to the right, not necessarily blowing out of the park, but it could be benefit to the pitchers. So this is a big slate. This is just one of the few games that definitely I have some interest in. Next game, Orioles versus the Mets. Mets favorited 6.5 over under. You have Means taking on Stroman. Means coming off a career game, no hitter, beautiful looking game, 10.3K, 30% strikeout rate. He's in play, but I don't think I'm going to get there. Mets 30th in the league in strikeouts, so they're literally dead last in Ks, which isn't a great matchup for Means. And then on the other side, Stroman 9.1. I don't think he's a bad pitcher. I think he's got a great matchup. Orioles are 13th in the league in strikeouts. Stroman, 60% ground ball pitcher this year, which is great. 20% K rate. It looks good. The price is just a little bit too high, which, if you have the salary, maybe he'll go a little bit lower owned. So decent matchup. I think, ballpark's great for the pitchers, 6.5 over under. I'm not interested in any of the bats here, but I think both pitchers in play. Next, you have the A's taking on the Red Sox. Red Sox favorited at home, 8.5 over under here. You have Bassett taking on Eovaldi. I think both pitchers are kind of in the same class together. Bassett, 25% strikeout rate, 33% hard contact given. And then on the other side, Eovaldi, he's been decent, 39% hard contact rate to lefties. So I don't think I'm going to get to either pitcher in this one. I don't really think I'm going to stack either team in this one either. 8.5 over under. This is just one of those good baseball games. Maybe not necessarily for DFS purposes, but the A's 4th in home runs overall. We want to look at those lefties. They don't have a ton of them, but Olsen at 4.1K is interesting to me. Lowry switch hitter 4.7K. I think the price is too high, but he's been kind of a gnat. So he's kind of in play. And then on the other side, Verdugo 3.9K, his price goes down a little bit. I think I have interest there. Martinez, Bogarts, Devers, those guys are always in play, right? But Bassett's actually a pretty decent pitcher, and the prices are just a little bit too high. I like the environment. The hitting environment's great. Wind's blowing out. So that, kind of boosts the bats a little bit. But other than that, this is kind of one of those, let me sit on it and see. We'll wait till a little bit closer to lock. Next, we have the Yankees taking on the Rays, 8 over under here. You have Montgomery taking on Patino. Not really interested in either pitcher here. Montgomery, 7,900. It's a little too pricey. It's too big of a slate. There's definitely other options here. 44% hard contact rate to right-handed bats. That being said, I'm definitely interested in the right-handed bats on the Rays side. I think they go a little bit under-owned here, and the price is quite nice. Margot, 3.5K. Diaz, 3.4K. Arozarena, his price is pretty high, 5.2. But if you're stacking with these other right-handed bats, you can easily make that work. Brosseau, 3.1K. He has power upside. Some of these guys just aren't hitting very well. Rays are first in strikeouts. Zunino 3.8K, catcher upside with power, but he does strike out a ton. That's what you kind of have to weigh in. Do you think the Rays are going to jump on Montgomery? it's very possible. The variance in baseball is very real. And then I'm just not interested in the Yankees bats here. I think they're priced fine, but fourth in home runs, 25th in average. It's all good, but Patino, and then I think there's just going to be a bullpen game. I just don't see anything getting too crazy out of hand in this game. So interest in the Rays, but there's definitely other spots to look at. Next, we have the Royals taking on the Tigers. Royals favorited 8 over under here. Singer taking on Boyd. Singer 5.7K, very cheap. Last 2 outings he has had haven't been very great. So I'm going to stay away from him. I could see why people would jump on him, though, going against the Tigers, who are 5th in strikeouts. And then on the other side, Boyd, 6.3K. Initially, when I was reading through the pitchers, I actually did have interest in him. He does give up 34% hard contact. The strikeouts are kind of down, 17% K rate. But if people are stacking up the Royals, Boyd is kind of interesting. I think he's a better strikeout pitcher than he has been this year. I'm not saying he's fully in play. I just think he's in the player pool for sure, just to get a little bit different. Royals bats, Merrifield hits Boyd very, very well. 5.3K. Santana 4.4. I like Perez, Soler, Dozier. There's definitely ways to get there. This Royals team is like boom or bust. They either hit home run or they strike out, or I don't know. It seems like they can get on base, but they have trouble with runners in scoring position. It's a tough one for me. I don't think I'm going to get to the Royals bats, but I could see why anybody would. And then on the Tigers side, I hate to say it, but Grossman at 3.3 is fine. Mazzara, I think if I want to pay up at pitcher and I want to pay up to get some of these big bats, I really love Mazzara at 2.2K. He has power upside. I like the matchup against Singer. So he is the one guy I think I'd really consider just because the price is so low. Candelario 4.1K if you're doing like a mini stack, but it's probably too pricey. Next, you have the Blue Jays and the Braves, 9 over under here. Robbie Ray taking on Wilson. I think Ray himself has been a much better pitcher this year than he has been in the past. He has the strikeout upside. He does have the ability to walk a lot of guys. He does give up home runs. So it's really tough to say. I think, if you're looking at bats, it's going to be right-handed bats on the Braves. And then Wilson on the other side, no interest in him as a pitcher. He's actually very terrible, one of the worst pitchers on the slate, in my opinion. That being said, I really love the Blue Jays bats here. Both of these teams, first and second in power overall. Blue Jays are overall a better offense, in my opinion. Semien, 5K, Bichette, Guerrero, Hernandez, 3.9K. Really love that value there. Biggio 3.4. He looks like he might be turning the corner. And then on the Brave side, I think it starts with Acuna 6K. I don't think I'm going to get there. It's way too expensive. Ozuna 5.3. It also seems expensive. Albies 4.9. The Braves are just priced up. I think they're in a decent spot. I think it's fine. But Robbie Ray, he could surprise you and strike out 8 or 10 or whatever. So I lean more Blue Jays on this one. Next, you have the Cardinals Brewers, 7 over under here. Brewers favorited. You have Kim taking on Peralta. Not really interested in Kim. Doesn't have a lot of upside there. Peralta at 9.4. Massive upside, 41% strikeout rate here, 13, but it comes with a high walk rate, 13% walk rate. You saw it last time. I think he gave up 5 runs in the first inning, and then he was fine. So Peralta is definitely risky. I think he's, kind of boom bust, or, maybe he'll give up 5 runs, but he can strike out 12. So Cardinals in play, right-handed bats. I think most of this lineup today will be right-handed. Arenado, 5.1K, low strikeout rate, decent walk rate. I think he's great. DeJong, 3.9K. I love his walk rate near 12% there. So he looks pretty good, especially at the price. Bader, I think, is a great punt play, 2.8K. He hasn't really struck out that much this season. He can walk. So he's definitely a guy, he's going to hit bottom of the order. People might be scared of that. Ownership might be low. So he's very interesting to me. And then the Brewer side, right-handed bats against Kim here. Kane at 3.4. Taylor, another one of those outfield punts that, I might just load up on these cheap guys. Taylor at 2K, Mazzara at 2.2K. It really allows me to pay up for a lot of pitching. So if I want to pay up at catcher or shortstop, so he's in play. And then Garcia 2.9, very cheap, very, high upside kind of guy. He could get you a home run. So those guys are in play. Next, you have the Twins White Sox, 7.5 over under. Maeda taking on Cease. I think both prices are fine on these pitchers. Maeda, he hasn't been all that great this year. I don't think he's dead, but I think it's a tougher matchup. White Sox fourth average, second in on base percentage. They're not hitting a ton of home runs. I don't think Maeda really gives up a ton of home runs, but I just don't see Maeda getting blown up in this game. And then on the White Sox, Cease 7K. It's the same thing as he's kind of like a mini Freddie Peralta, right? 32% strikeout rate, 12% walk rate. That's too high. He's kind of a risky guy to throw out there. If it was a smaller slate, maybe I'd have more interest, but bats in play. I don't really have any interest on the White Sox side for now. Twins, Donaldson at 5K. He's been kind of on fire. He doesn't strike out a lot either. So as a one-off, I think that's totally fine. Kepler 3.6. He's looked great since he's come back. That's a cheap price tag to throw in the outfield. So both of those guys in play. Next game here, Angels, Astros, 8.5 over under. Astros favored it at home. You have Ohtani taking on McCullers. This is kind of a wild game. Ohtani, I think the price is fine. 35% strikeout rate is great, but that 22% walk rate is insane. However, he does not give up a lot of fly balls. I'm not too interested in playing him, I think, in this one. Just the walk rate kind of scares me a little bit. I think he has tons of upside, though. We just don't know how long he's going to pitch in the game. And then McCullers on the other side, I think he's a fine option, just real tough matchup, and he's too pricey, so I'm not going to go his way. Angels, we know what they can do on offense. If you look at their stats here, third in average, eighth in on base percentage, fourth in home runs. Even though they're banged up, they still do it. Trout at 5.8K. I think it's fine. He said it himself. He doesn't hit very great at Minute Maid Park. Tougher matchup for him against McCullers. But McCullers can be wild, so we don't know what we're going to see. Upton is another guy I really love. A punt play, 2.5K. Throw him in the outfield. He hit a home run yesterday. He's got that upside. And then on the Astros side, I think they're interesting. They're just really pricey, so I don't think I'm going to get there today. Next, we have the Padres Rockies. Yesterday was a rain out, so 9 over under here. It's still going to be kind of rainy, 40-degree temperature. I hope this game plays because I think it'll draw a lot of interest, as it should. I think the Padres would really smash in this spot. Lamet going against Senzatella. Senzatella, if he keeps the ball on the ground, 54% ground ball rate this season, I think he'll be fine, but he's just not a good pitcher. Going up against a decent offense here. And then Lamet, I like him a lot. That's a really cheap price tag on him, but we just don't know how long he's actually going to go. Plus, it's just not a great favorable matchup here. Weather sucks. Ballpark sucks. Padres hitting, really good spot here. Legit, everybody's in play here, but there are some weather concerns. So I don't even think I'm going to even think about this game. And then, the Rockies, left-handed bats, do fairly well against Lamet. Blackman at 5'8", McMahon 5'4", Tapia. Those guys are all in play, but I think there's just better spots. Next, we have the Marlins Diamondbacks, 8 over under here. D-backs favorited. You have Lopez at 8,200. I really like him a lot. These Diamondbacks are actually okay when it comes to offense, but Lopez has been a pretty good pitcher, 48% ground ball rate, 25% strikeout rate. So that looks pretty decent to me. And then on the other side, Bumgarner, he threw somewhat of a no-hitter, this year. I say give it to him. 8,700. He does have a 26% strikeout rate. That is no way sustainable. He has been just kind of terrible everywhere else. I really like the Marlins in this side, especially the right-handed bats. Right-handed bats have been doing very, very well against Bumgarner. And it looks like the Marlins team is 1 through 9 is going to be all right-handed here. If they're patient, which they're 25th in on-base percentage, so you can't necessarily say that they are patient. But if they are patient today, they could smash. Love Aguilar at that price, Rojas. Duval, Anderson. I think this whole team, they're going to be so under-owned, I think. And 2-3 starts ago, everyone was saying, jump on Bumgarner. He's actually been very good lately. He's coming off an injury where he was hitting the wrist, batting or whatever. Maybe he was in the field, I'm not sure. But he's coming off that wrist. He says he feels fine. This could be a spot where I take advantage. I like the Marlins here early, or in the early going here. If they get to Bumgarner, the Diamondbacks bullpen, second most home runs given up. They have a 5.09 ERA. This could be a really good spot for Miami. And then on the other side with the Diamondbacks, I think everyone's just priced up or fine. Cabrera 3.7K I think is good, but I think Lopez is a better pitcher. So Last but not least, we have the Mariners taking on the Dodgers. 7 over under here. Dodgers favorited at home. Kikuchi taking on Buehler. Buehler 9.8K is my favorite. Probably spend up on this slate. 27% K rate, which is up. His walk rate is nasty low, 1.4% walk rate. The Mariners 28th overall in on-base percentage. They don't walk a lot. They strike out a ton. They're 8th overall in strikeouts. I think this matchup, it looks great for Buehler. I don't care about the ownership in this one. I'm not really interested in any bats against Buehler, maybe left-handed ones, maybe Kyle Seager. But if I'm going to play Buehler, I obviously don't want Seager in my lineups. And then next here on the Dodgers bats, right-handed bats look very good against Kikuchi. Kikuchi's been decent against lefties, but the right-handed bats look strong here. Betts at 6-1. Turner 5-5 is probably my favorite. Taylor in play 4-4, but I like to get to those other cheap outfielders we talked about earlier. Smith at 5-2. I think, getting to those cheap outfielders might, make it so we can pay up for Smith at 5-2. That is kind of pricey. He is a talented hitter, though, so that'll do it. That is the 12-game breakdown here. My name's Tim. If you have not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please subscribe. We do these breakdowns pretty much daily, so a lot of guys I like here. So best of luck to you today. Comment below if you want to just say hi, what's up, tell me what you think of the slate. Like this video, it really helps me out a ton. So I really have fun doing this, and I wish you the best of luck. Take it easy.